Okay, good afternoon. We are from Group 7 and we're going to share about our critical journal review. Next. Okay. From the first, there's journal identity. And this is the first journal. The title, Neurolinguistic Programming as an Innovation and in Education and Teaching. Published online in 3rd August 2010. Link of article. And then DOI. And then the volume is 47. And then ISSN, and then the last writer, Paul Tosey and Jane Matheson.
And the second journal, the title is NLP Presuppositions and Subjective Well-Being. Is there any association? Published online in 2017. And DOI, ISN, there's no ISSN, and the writer is Karsai Senia. Summary of the first journal. Introduction. Neurolinguistic programming has achieved considerable popularity as an approach to communication, learning, and personal development. Our intellectual project is concerned not with attempting to validate NLP, but with articulating and critically appraising its relevance to issue of learning and promoting dialogue between practitioner and academic communities. There are few precise data about the usage of NLP in education, training, and teaching. NLP training providers exist around the globe, and we estimate that tens of thousands of participants have attended courses in the UK alone.
Okay, and then here we identify 7 critical issues that may have contributed to a lack of dialogue between practitioner and academic community. This represents a synthesis of what we perceive to be important terms, informed by extensive acquaintance with the literature and the field of practice. Those issues are first, NLP pragmatic, anti-theoretical stance, and second, its eclecticism and the lack of theoretical coherence. The third, weak linkage to contemporary academic work in relevant fields. Fourth, the belief that there is a recent evidence refuting NLP. And five, an unclear evidence base for NLP and a lack of application of its practice. Six, ethical concern about the way NLP is used in practice. And last, a lack of reflexive critique of NLP discourse and the social practice. Okay, the origin and definition. NLP was developed in 1970 by Richard Bandler, then a student, and John Grinder as an associate professor of linguistics at the University of California, Santa Cruz. The title NLP reflects the principle that a person is a whole mind by the system with consistent pattern connection between neurolinguistical process, neuro, language, or linguistic, and learned behavioral strategies or programming. NLP emphasizes the potential for self-determination through overcoming learned self-limitation. Were described on the book jacket of Bandler and Grinder as a sharing the sources of all those who are involved in finding ways to help people have better, fuller, and rich lives. Early publications have a psychotherapeutic emphasis because its initial studies were of Fritz Perls, a founder of Gestalt therapy, Virginia Satir, and the family therapist, and Middleton Erickson, the hippotherapist.
NLP as epistemology. While writers on NLP have generally declined to articulate it as theory, an issue to which was returned later, we consider that it has discernible theoretical thrust. Specifically, we regard Gregory Bateson's ideas as a central influence of NLP. NLP as methodology, as noted previously, NLP was developed originally as a methodology called modeling. The nature of modeling is also contested. Diels in 1998 emphasized a more conscious analytical approach that employs conceptual frameworks, while Grinder argues that modeling is essentially an unconscious assimilation of the exemplar's capability. In practice, these two modes are often used in combination. Modeling has been used to identify cognitive strategies that lie behind capabilities such as motivating oneself, negotiating, spelling, and so on. Diels has modeled a number of strategies of genius, including, for example, a creative process that appears to have been used by Walt Disney. NLP as technology. NLP offers a wide range of techniques and practical frameworks. Describe exhaustively popular publications, including some aimed specifically at teachers and learners. These tools can be applied to virtually any aspect of learning and teaching: self-management, presentation skills, study skills, classroom management, teaching design, and so on. Here we give conclusion. This article has offered an information introduction to an appraisal of NLP. It has argued that NLP is a practice that appears to be used widely by individual educators, and that NLP can be understood theoretically through Bateson's systemic epistemology. Its identity and distinct contribution is principally as a methodology, even though the field is typically perceived to be a set of techniques. There appears to be much within NLP from which education, training, and teaching can benefit. We have also identified 7 critical challenges to be addressed. NLP surely merits further research attention, and we advocate academic interest led by a genuine skepticism, complemented by a greater dialogue between practitioner and academic communities.
Okay, next, the second journal, Introduction. A line of search examines the effect of social and demographic circumstances such as age, sex, marital status, and socio-economic status. Other investigators aimed at revealing personality relate correlation, serving value priorities, strength of character, and big five correlate. The current study belongs to the latter mentioned line of search and explore whether there is a relationship between a person's way of thinking, more precisely, and acceptance of a specific system of thoughts as subjective well-being. Neurolinguistic programming, or NLP, is a methodology used to improve communication skill and achieve personal development. It is based on modeling skills, the skills of exceptional people, and is claimed to allow anyone to acquire those skills. However, empirical evidence is contradictory, and the Gilding philosophy that forms the basis of the successful use of the NLP. The NLP is presupposition. These presuppositions are seen as a guiding device to assist people in making transition in their thinking to new forms of perception. They represent certain value priorities, such as self-direction, stimulation, universalism, benevolence, achievement, achievement. The NLP presupposition are investigated to determine whether people who find them more consistent with their own value have a higher level of subjective well-being.
Method, participants and procedure. 94 participants, which is 74 women or 79% and 20 men or 21%. Enter the online survey. Who were invited through emails and social networking websites. Data were collected anonymously in a 2 weeks period. The survey consisted of 4 parts and as described below. Statistical analysis were performed using R version 30313. Instrument, approval of the NLP presuppositions. Since NLP has never been claimed to be an independent theory, its presuppositions have not been empirically tested and their inventory has not been established yet. Their quantity and exact pricing may vary slightly author by author. However, those differences do not affect their essence and conceptual framework. Qualitative comparison of several approaches resulted in constricting analysis to 5 lists. The result, the Shapiro-Wilk test was used to test for the normality of 2 variables, subjective well-being and approval of the NLP presuppositions. Non-parametric tests were used to check the hypothesis correlation between the variables. Gender difference were significant and hypothesis positive correlation between subjective well-being and the approval of the presupposition was significant. Gender difference in subjective well-being correlate with a smaller number of acceptance principles, and PISI scores have a positive associations with agreement with the NLP presuppositions. Fisher transformation was used to check whether there is a significant difference between the correlation coefficient of men and women.
And the conclusion, the study examined whether concordance with a specific set of principles, namely with the presupposition of NLP, might be associated with an individual's levels of subjective well-being, psychological immune capacity, and assertive behavior. Results show a positive correlation between a result of the psychological immune system inventory and the approval of the NLP presupposition. However, there was a lack of correlation between approval these presupposition and assertive behaviors. This inconsistency may be related to the self-determination theory, which states that for thinking to be reflected in a self-determined activity, it's required to be associated with more internalized motivation and regulation. Further research is needed to examine the effects of social and demographic experiments. Okay, the part 3, it's advantage of the journal. This both journal explain NLP techniques very well. One of the journal explain the result of the the result of the research by including data tables so that it's clearer and understandable. The display of the journal is made in attractive way so that it's easy to read. And last, for the first journal, they give an example on each point.
Disadvantages of the journals. One of the journals does not explain the research results in detail, and there is a lack of research evidence, so the research results can be questioned. The choice of words used in these two journals is a little difficult to understand. Suggestion and conclusion. Suggestion: it would be better if the explanation in each journal used simpler word choices and was easy for everyone to understand. Conclusion: from these two journals, we can get information about what NLP is and how it relates to other fields of science such as psychological immunity and assertive communication. NLP is also related to educational matter such as learning, teaching, or in short, the academic world, which makes communication a priority. NLP challenges the assumption that personal change necessarily involves long term therapy and is only possible with insights into the past. It embodies a discourse of self improvement and like the emergent field of positive psychology.
Okay, so that's all our presentation about our CJR. Um, Feel free if you want to ask and giving us suggestion. Thank you.